It's the Morning Pittsburgh Sports Report. Guy Junker, Ken Laird. Everything going on at Pittsburgh Sports this morning is everything going on in Central PA, or actually Indianapolis, where the NCAA had its press conference just a little bit ago, Guy, and they brought the hammer down on Penn State football. $60 million in fines, a drop in scholarships per year to 15 new scholarships added, a max of 65 for the next 4 years, 4-year bowl ban. Immediate transfer eligibility for anybody that's currently there to another team. They could play this year. 5 years probation. They really have brought the muscle, and it's unlike the NCAA to act so quickly. Your reaction, and also where Penn State goes from here. How many transfers and evacuations do you think we'll see out of this?
Well, I think a lot of people are talking bravely right now. We're going to stick it out, but I think when the reality starts setting in, and you'll probably see a domino effect. Once one or two big-name guys decide to leave, I think a lot of other ones will follow. It'll take decades. It'll take a decade at least, I think, for them to get back to anywhere near where if they ever do. They may never get back to that. Someone said to me after Paterno was first fired, now they're just like any of the other over 100 programs out there floundering around. They're not anything special, or they don't have that advantage of the long-time old coach and the recruiting and everything like that. Well, now obviously they're, from a football standpoint, which doesn't remain the main focus here. One of the things that I look at, though, Ken, right off the top is the $60 million fine. This university has been criticized in the past for the unbelievable tuition increases that they've had for a state school in recent years. And as a parent who has someone that's going to be going there, the NCAA says, Emmert says, well, we don't want this coming from the other non-revenue sports. We don't want this being taken from the academic part of the university either. Well, where's it supposed to come from? It's probably going to come from the pockets of people like me, which,
alumni,
that bothers me. You mentioned maybe they'll have a wealthy contributor like Terry Pagula, who's given $100 million to start their Division I hockey program.
Get Terry on line one. Terry, Penn State here.
Yeah, really.
Need some help.
Yeah, you any more checks left in the checkbook. So, I mean, those are some of the things. You can't say anything right now to stick up for Penn State in any factor without seeming like you're supporting a child molester. I do wonder, could they have waited until, and I know the football season's ready to start, but this could have all started with the next football season if this one went on. Could they have waited to Curley and Schultz and Spanier and all their cases play out? Could anything new be found out that could either make it worse or make it better? Will they adjust any of these penalties? Could maybe it'll even be worse after these guys go on their perjury trial.
Well, that's a good point.
So I just think that there's been.
Although how much worse can it get? I mean, you could make an argument this is worse than the death penalty for Penn State. I think they would have survived better a 1 or 2 year going away, scratching it clean, and coming back. It's only a couple. Now you're 4 years plus probation. I mean, that's getting into a long time before you'll get any top recruits, and people start to forget about Penn State as far as even an option when you're coming up through high school, et cetera, et cetera.
And even if, let's say Paterno had died and they were put on probation for some other reason, you could always go back to that history. They were great. We can build it again. Now you can't even go back and look at that and say that was a great era, because that entire era has been tainted. I mean, it's you look at that big structure up there. You wonder, will it ever have 100,000 people in it again? I don't know. But the only thing, I think they acted hastily. They've done a lot of things that are out of the norm. I heard I think it was you mentioned, does this become another Roger Goodell situation where the NCAA is all empowering, and next time a guy takes a pair of free shoes somewhere, are they going to jump in and start circumventing some of their what they've done in the past? Although it does make sense that the free report was criticized as it was going on as something that was paid for by Penn State. So what's it going to show? Well, it was pretty damning, and it was so damning and so thorough that the NCAA said we could never do an investigation as thorough. We'll just take it at its value, without the university being able to defend itself at all as they would normally in an investigation that the NCAA would carry out. Although they're on board with the whole thing apparently.
Yeah, and I think what we saw over the weekend with Joe Paterno's statue coming down, that was the Board of Trustees looking to maybe make a little preemptive measure here. Hey, look at the steps we're taking. Go easy on us. I mean, they've said they're not going to fight this, and they're going to take their medicine. But I think the Paterno part of it, they were trying to show that, hey, we're being contrite here. Go easy on us. But also, now a part of this, as you mentioned, the record books, the last 11 years taken off the boards.
Yeah, that's the one
98.
part of it I'm not. That seems to be
14
piling
years.
on a little bit. I mean, all the guys that played there, those 11 had nothing to do with this. What they, Evan Royster, you're reading one of his tweets, says, I never won a college football game now in my whole time there.
But he can't look at it like that, right? I mean, Evan Royster did nothing wrong. I mean, he's...
Yeah, I suppose, but this, as you stated, this is now. If Paterno was not the all-time winningest coach, I don't think they do that. But they're not going to let that guy be the all-time winningest coach now, so they'll take those wins away.
All right, we'll keep following this. I think the next big shoe to drop will be those Tim Curley and Gary Schultz trials coming up in the future.
What happens to Bill O'Brien? I mean, does he have any
true.
kind of an escape clause? I mean, he had to know that there was a possibility something like this could happen. Does he have in his contract if this school goes on probation, I can get out of my deal?
And how many current players and incoming prospects, recruits will transfer out of there? For Guy Junker, I'm Ken Laird. The Morning Pittsburgh Sports Report kicks us off here on Trib Live Radio, triblive.com.